All right, hey everyone, welcome into another episode of the Spoiler Alert podcast, the holiday episode, Christmas episode, and we're going to be getting into Christmas movies at the end of the show. Ty and I are going to do a face-off. We're going to draft Christmas movies and see who ends up with the better lineup.
It's crazy because it feels like yesterday was just Thanksgiving, so here we are, it's already Christmas.
What's funny is I watched the Thanksgiving movie yesterday.
Did you like it?
I didn't mind it. It wasn't bad by any means. So to go off on a little bit of a tangent, my biggest problem with comedy horror movies is they don't advertise themselves as comedy horror movies. They advertise themselves as just horror. So you go into the movie expecting, scary, creepy horror. That was not what this was. This was funny. And like what was good was the opening scene sets that comedic tone. And so throughout the rest of the movie, I'm like, okay, this isn't meant to be taken seriously. It's a comedy. Things are supposed to be ridiculous. I'll roll with that. And I enjoyed it like that. There's other movies that try to do both. And it just never works. Yeah. And that shit always just annoys me. But Thanksgiving was good. The death scenes were fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
I think it reminded me a lot of The Terrifier for some of them.
Yeah, it did. It definitely did.
Just kind of gruesome
over the top
shit.
Yep.
Yeah. But overall, not a terrible movie. It was essentially just Scream with a Thanksgiving theme.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, but yeah, did not mind it. We'll go through the upcoming movies of the week. Ty got a bit of movie news, and Ty's going to be handling both Convince Me to See's or Not.
Oh, yeah.
We will be doing two of those, one on Wonka and one on The Iron Claw, which is very fresh in your mind because you just got back.
Literally just got home, yeah. It's one of those weeks where a movie comes out this week, and I've already seen it.
Nice. And that's good. I like that shit because then people listen and they're like, okay, what are we going to do during the weekend before Thanksgiving, hanging out with friends, family? Maybe you want to go see one of these movies. But let's hop into what's coming out this week. A movie that you're not going to want to see, Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. I'll just straight up say that. I'm not going to see it. Nope. I don't have any care to see it. Nobody cares anymore, quite honestly.
I feel like this movie's going to do so badly at the box office, and then I just found out it's not even going to have a red carpet release. I saw that it had it was like James Wan and old what's his face went Momoa, and then it was literally just like them two, and a theater of people. No red carpet, nothing.
And that's just such a shame. I feel like because obviously I have a lot of respect for James Wan, the creator of Saw, how he got his whole start, and now he's doing this.
Yeah, apparently he's going back to horror now because of just how terrible these fucking Aquaman movies have been, which, can you blame him?
No, not at all. After dealing with that, and not only the movie itself being shitty, but Amber Heard dealing with all her bullshit.
Yeah.
And, that's where we're at. The movie is just a black hole of what DC is. I think they just want to leave that behind, get this movie out because they already filmed it, and then never talk about it again.
Yep. It's the end of the DCEU, as they call it, the old DC universe, before they reboot everything with James Gunn.
Good luck.
Yeah, exactly. Good luck. It's currently got a 38% on Rotten Tomatoes, so that's
Jesus,
pretty fucking low.
That's not great. What did Ant-Man get?
Let's see.
The newest
one.
Let's
see. I feel like it was maybe
I think it was a
50
little
or 40.
higher.
Let's see. Ant-Man.
So it wasn't
Mania. It is at if it loads, 46.
All right, so a little better. All right, good job, Marvel. You did it.
Yep. Speaking of that, real quick, I didn't lay this out in the news, but Jonathan Majors ixnayed from Marvel, so he's done. I'm just sick of talking about Marvel.
Yeah,
so I didn't even add to this. Kang's probably done.
I hope it does just turn into Doctor Doom, which again, I'm not super into the comic books to know exactly why people were calling for Doctor Doom from the very beginning.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And when it was Kang, they're like, "What the fuck? Why? Why is it not Doctor Doom?" And I didn't understand why. I don't know if like the comics it's Doctor Doom, what, but that sounds like what people wanted anyways.
Yep. He's just gonna drop a bunch of 5/5s all over the place.
Yeah.
Marvel snap joke, folks. Hope you're paying attention.
Killing my boy Professor X.
Oh God.
Actually, you know, I kept playing my deck with him. It wasn't that bad. It was okay.
Yeah, I'm excited. I still haven't played any today, so I'll give it a go.
You don't play him for the points.
No.
Anyways, back to the podcast. DC Aquaman. Aquaman balances his duties as a king and as a member of the Justice League, all while planning a wedding. My God. Black Manta is on the hunt for Atlantean tech to help rebuild his armor. Orm, I don't know who the fuck Orm is, but Orm plots to escape his Atlantean prison. Big note here. Nobody cares anymore. And like I said before, James Wan's directing, obviously, but I don't know how he went from Saw to this garbage.
Yeah, this one's not getting watched by either of us. Complete pass all around. The
next one will be watched by both of us for different reasons. Anyone but you. After an amazing first date, Bay and Ben's fiery attraction turns ice cold until they find themselves unexpectedly reunited at a destination wedding in Australia. So they do what any two mature adults would do, pretend to be a couple. So this is starring Sydney Sweeney. And if you were wondering, the tags on IMDb are female nudity, female full frontal nudity, female rear nudity, female frontal nudity. So to answer your question that is in your head, yes.
Yes, and yes. It's currently got a 57% on Rotten Tomatoes, so that's better than Aquaman. Yeah. I wonder why. Apparently, this movie is like the one that like both of them like cheated on their like actual real life like spouses on, and unless it was just really good marketing, like they were just really just out there. So who knows? But you know, I'm never against a good rom-com, so we'll see.
Yeah. You know, Sophie was like, "Oh, that looks funny. I want to see that." I'm like, "Yeah, you know, me too."
Let's go to the theater. Let's go to see in the IMAX.
Yeah, big screen. Get those vibrating seats. The 4D. I'm ready.
Oh, I'm gonna see this movie for sure.
But yeah, Sydney Sweeney, Glenn Powell. For some reason, anytime I hear Glenn, I think of Glenn
Ringer?
Howardson.
Yeah,
that's a good one too. That's a good one too. Well, now I think that too. Yeah.
Glenn Powell just has such a dick-looking face, even though he's kind of a cool actor, I guess. He was Hangman in Maverick, so that's cool.
Yeah. He's also 10 years older than Sydney Sweeney, so good for him.
How old is Sydney Sweeney?
4 years younger than us.
Oh, okay.
So.
All right.
Yeah, that's right. Hey, we answered the questions people want to know, and
people are going to see this movie.
All you need to know,
regardless if it's good or not. They're going to see this movie because they want to see Sydney Sweeney,
or at least part of the movie.
Right. Does leave.
All right, I've seen all I need to see. Will Gluck is the director here. He has directed actually some decent other romantic comedies, Easy A and Friends with Benefits.
Okay.
So, you know, good background there. Decent director. He knows how to do rom-coms, and here he is doing it again. But that comes out tomorrow. Sweet.
A lot of good. There is some good in this list of upcoming movies. There's one bad so far. A couple good.
Yeah, one and one. So I think we'll end it out. We'll find out. We'll find out here. But the next one is The Iron Claw, the one Ty you just got back from seeing. We've been talking about this movie for a little bit here, and it's finally here. I think so. Ty, you're not gonna have to convince me too much here, because I'm pretty sure I'm gonna be seeing it on Saturday.
Hell fucking yeah! I'm just gonna spoiler alert later in the podcast. It rules. I absolutely loved it.
Hell yeah!
It's fucking great.
It is the true story of the inseparable Von Erich brothers who made history in the intensely competitive world of professional wrestling in the early 1980s. So starring Zac Efron and Jeremy Allen White, who I mean, Zac Efron's always getting ripped for pretty much every role he does, but Jeremy Allen White, he was always just kind of a little skinny dude, and now he is absolutely ripped.
And they're both fucking great in this movie. I don't want to go. I'm not going to go too deep into it because I will be soon, but it's such a good movie.
Hell yeah! So we'll just kind of glance over this one because we're going to be talking about it in more detail, and we'll move on to the next one here, which likely a movie that isn't so much for us. It is a children's animation movie, Migration. A family of ducks tries to convince their overprotective father to go on the vacation of a lifetime. A lot of people in this movie, though. So you have Elizabeth Banks, Awkwafina, Keegan-Michael Key, Danny DeVito, Kumail Nanjiani, who I know mostly from Silicon Valley, and Mr. Beast is randomly in this. He just kind of throws himself into voice acting roles now.
Jeez, that's kind of cool. I mean, good for him, but like the dude doesn't need any more money.
No, well, you know what? It's not even for him. He just gives it away.
Yeah, for sure.
But it does have a decently high rating for an animated film. It is Illumination, so same studio as Despicable Me and the Minion films. And quite honestly, they've been doing better than Pixar in recent movies. So not too surprised to see this doing at least somewhat well. Currently a 7.1 on IMDb, 61 on Metacritic.
I feel like I've been seeing this trailer for so long now before movies, but yeah, you know, good for them. I'm probably not going to see it, but it's probably solid enough movie. It's got a good voice cast. That's pretty much all you need right there. I'm sure kids are going to go see with their parents over Christmas break, so that's what they're really wanting.
And with this cast, you know, they're all pretty much known for their more adult humor. So I wouldn't be surprised if, like, in the movie there are some more adult-themed jokes that just go over the kids' heads.
For sure.
You got to give something for the parents, too.
Definitely.
Stafford touchdown there, Ty.
Woo!
To Puka.
I have Puka and Matt Stafford in my other league. Let's go.
There you go. Stacking them up.
That's big.
If you can't tell, we got fantasy football playoffs this week.
Oh, yeah.
That's the other podcast, Sleeping with the Numbers, if you want to take a listen. We'll talk about that there. But next film here, American Fiction. A novelist who's fed up with the establishment profiting from black entertainment uses a pen name to write a book that propels him to the heart of hypocrisy and the madness he claims to disdain. So this comes from the writer of the Watchmen TV series.
That's cool.
And a decent cast here. You get Jeffrey Wright, who he's in actually a ton of HBO TV series. The big one,
I like
Westworld. He was also in Boardwalk Empire with Steve Buscemi. And who else we got here? We got Adam Brody and Keith David.
Okay.
So pretty good cast there. Oh, and Issa Rae, who I just recognize that name. What is she in? She's in. Oh man, why do I recognize her? Because now I'm looking at the things she's in, and I don't recognize any. Oh, Barbie. She was in Barbie. There we go.
Oh, okay, that's right.
Barbie, American Fiction. She was in Spider-Verse.
Oh, that's right.
Jessica Drew. Okay, that's why I recognized her name. For some reason, it shows what she's produced first on IMDb rather than what she's been an actress in. So that's where I was like, I don't recognize any of this stuff.
The movie's apparently really, really good. It's got a 92% certified fresh Rotten Tomato critic score.
Very nice. Yeah. Seeing similar things on my end at 7.7 on IMDb and 80 on Metacritic.
Yeah, that's high for Metacritic too.
Yeah. So probably a decently good watch here and a great cast.
Yeah, this is one that I definitely want to try to see sooner rather than later.
And then the final one here, we slightly talked about this in it feels like a while ago. I think when we were like previewing the entire 2023 year. It is Ferrari, set in the summer of 1957 with Enzo Ferrari's auto empire in crisis. The ex-racer turned entrepreneur pushes himself and his drivers to the edge as they launch into the Milia, Jesus, a treacherous 1,000-mile race across Italy. So you get Adam Driver here as Enzo Ferrari, and then just because it's an Italian movie, any Italian movie ever, you have to throw in Penelope Cruz for some reason.
That's so funny.
But I don't know, Ty, because didn't we have him? What was
Gucci, House of Gucci.
Gucci, House of Gucci.
Exactly.
I don't know
That's
if
exactly what this reminds me of too. Yeah,
and I think both of them were in it.
Yeah, I mean, I love Adam Driver. Don't get me wrong, but like,
sure,
I don't know. This movie's not really. I don't know. I'm not a car guy. The 1,000-mile race sounds cool, but the whole like, why does it have to be just about Enzo Ferrari? Who gives a shit? Let me see that race.
Yeah, Ford versus Ferrari might be a better movie, even though it was a little bit later than when this takes place. But like,
and I still didn't even see that one either. I feel like this is just House of Gucci meets Ford versus Ferrari.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't think. So again, respect to Adam Driver, but his accent is not great. so I don't know. We'll see how it is. Honestly, I'll probably see it just because I'm somewhat of a car guy. It's not so much that I'm into cars. I'm more into like Formula 1 and stuff like that. Ferrari, obviously, a big constructor for that. So we'll give it a go. We'll see what happens. My expectations are not super high.
Yeah, 6.7 IMDb right now. That's not bad. It's about what I figured it'd be.
Cool, but Ty, let's hop into some of the news.
Yeah, we got some stuff here. So we have Dwayne Johnson's to play an MMA pioneer and UFC champ Mark Kerr in The Smashing Machine for A24. That's going to be directed by Benny Safdie. So Johnson and Safdie been collaborators on the project since Johnson's Seven Bucks Productions acquired the rights in 2019. The movie's going to follow Kerr's struggle with addiction, winning, love, and friendship in the year 2000. So this is like before my time watching UFC. I never heard of Mark Kerr before. I heard of like Mark Coleman, other old names like that, but wasn't really familiar with this guy. I looked him up. He's a former wrestler and mixed martial artist. During his MMA career, he was a 2-time UFC heavyweight tournament champion, a World Vale Tudo Championship tournament winner, a Pride heavyweight champion, and a whole bunch of other stuff.
Straight killer.
So then I looked up his MMA record. He's 15-11. He most recently fought in 2009, and he lost 5 in a row. So he started out 12-0. He won 3 sometime in between then in his last, 11 fights.
All right, well, take notes, Tony Ferguson. This is your future.
Exactly. I mean, it sounds like it's going to be cool, though, because Benny Safdie and The Rock, we'll see if The Rock can actually act or not, because I feel like this is more of a dramatic role than what we're used to seeing him in. I feel like he just can't act, but we'll see, I guess.
So you said it's called The Smashing Machine?
Yeah.
So there's a documentary of the same name about him.
Okay.
That came out in 2002.
Wow.
So fun fact there, that has Bas Rutten in it as well.
Hell yeah, that's awesome.
But The Rock kind of does look like him.
Yeah, he does. He does. So it's probably good casting by Benny Safdie there. It's his first directing project since Uncut Gems, so he's got a good history there when it comes to sports-ish movies. Uncut Gems, sports betting. So we'll see. It sounds interesting enough. I'm sure it's kind of in our wheelhouse. We have the Death Stranding live-action movie in the works from A24 too. So two pretty big movies here from A24, with Hideo Kojima attached to it as well. So the wildly popular 2019 action video game, they're calling it, is coming to the big screen. That's what I'm saying. Listen, the way they prop this game up is crazy. So I never played it. I don't know a little bit about it. I just know people went as far as to calling it a walking simulator.
Yeah. It's an Amazon delivery driver. Literally.
It sold 5 million copies and has a reputation as one of the best video games of the 21st century. Okay, that's really pushing it.
Really pushing it.
But it's set in the United States after a cataclysmic event unleashes destructive creatures onto the planet. Players take control of a courier named Sam Porter Bridges, who is Norman Reedus, and he's tasked with bringing resources to colonies across the country and connecting them through a wireless network. So, I mean, does he even have guns or anything in the game? Does he just walk around delivering boxes? I don't know.
I honestly don't know either. And I've watched the game be played. Mm-hmm. I've never played it because it looked horribly boring and got not great reviews at the beginning. I did, to be fair, I did hear that they fixed it a good bit. but at the beginning it was not great. But is Norman Reedus going to be the guy in the movie?
Surely he would have to be. I didn't see that, but I mean, there's no way they can do this and not have Norman Reedus.
It also does say that Death Stranding 2 comes out next year.
I just don't know. I just know there's like the baby's inside the thing or whatever. Right. I don't know. Weird. The
teaser trailer for that game was the most confusing thing, and no one knew what the hell the game was going to be about. But the hype around it was unreal. And then it came out and was this, and everyone's like, what the fuck?
Yeah. So the film promises to delve into the mystery surrounding the apocalyptic event called the Death Stranding. He's pretty excited about it from what it says. Pretty much Hideo Kojima is really excited to adapt this game to film. So usually whenever somebody's that excited about something, it turns out to be pretty good. So we'll see. A24 doesn't miss, so I can't quit saying that, especially because after just seeing The Iron Claw, another A24 movie. Yeah, I mean, we'll see that, I'm sure. Okay, this one really pisses me off. We're going to get a Bambi horror movie. It's called Bambi the Reckoning, and it's from the team behind my least favorite movie of all time. It's from the team behind Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. It's another horror movie with a classic twist on a children's property, they're saying. My one big note is, fuck these people and everything they stand for. I hate these just cornball movies. It's starring nobody we've ever heard of course, and it has a fall 2024 release date. Listen to what the director had to say about it. He says, it's gonna be terrifying. When people see a deer in the wild after this film, they're gonna run for the hills. This film is about the death of childhoods as much as it is gonna ruin childhoods. Expect bloodshed, tears and rabbits, and one mean killer deer. At last, the British countryside will finally have its Godzilla. Shut the fuck up. You've got to be kidding me. That is ridiculous.
Yeah.
That is just over the top ridiculous.
Oh my god.
But it's part of their fairy tale universe, which, get this, Peter Pan's Neverland Nightmare is going to be coming out after this one, in which Tinkerbell injects pixie dust like it's heroin, and will be shooting. Like, that's crazy. So, I guess they have even more to be announced, but the next one is going to be Bambi the Reckoning, and there's just no way that it's going to be good at all. It's going to be even worse than Winnie the Pooh. That's just ridiculous. Then just the last bit I have here is that we have a release date for the new Strangers Chapter 1 movie. So it's the first installment in the brand new reboot with director Rennie Harlin. Never heard of him before. I didn't really look into his work, but theatrical release on May 17th, 2024. So a couple months now. What is that, 5 months or so? Yeah, about 5 months.
It's just to be something into him. He hasn't made shit. His highest rated movie is a 7.6. However, I feel like that doesn't count because it's a TV episode and not a feature length film. He's another music video guy. He made LL Cool J's Deepest Bluest music video.
What? That's the most random thing I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah. Oh, that makes a lot of sense.
I would never guess.
That makes a lot of sense because he also directed Deep Blue Sea, and I'm pretty sure LL Cool J was in that movie. He is. So that's why they made that song and why he directed it. So there you go. Fun fact.
Wow, the Saints just went for completely just sidebar here. Saints just went for on fourth down in the middle of the field and 4th and 5 and just got blown out and turned the ball over.
Sounds like Derek Carr.
I hate that guy.
Fucking bum.
But this movie is set to be something of a remake of the original 2008 movie, and then Chapter 2 and 3 are going to blaze a new path from there. So we'll see how that is. I'm excited for that one. First Strangers movie hit right at a time where I wasn't really watching a ton of horror movies, but I'm excited for this one.
Awesome.
That's it for the news, though. Not a ton.
Strangers was one of those films that fucked me up. Quite honestly,
exactly. That's why I
was younger. Yeah,
that's why I avoided it. I was like, I've heard nothing but scary things about this. I don't want to see it.
Yeah. The first one was good. Then they should have stopped, which is my worry here. But hey, we'll see. I'm always willing to give it another go, but I'll be pretty pessimistic. Awesome. But Ty, you got 2 movies for me to convince me to see or not. Which would you like to start with, Wonka or the Iron Claw?
I'll start with Wonka since I saw it first. I think I saw it. What day was that? Tuesday, Wednesday, Monday, Tuesday, something like that. But yeah. So let's get into it here. I really love the first Willy Wonka movie. It's one of my favorites of all time. I've said that before on the pod, but it's pretty much just a comfort movie for me too. I'll just throw it on every now and then, time to time. Super nostalgic. I always remember being able to get actual Wonka bars, but only at the most random places. So you could get them at like Toys R Us, at the old candy shop in the Pittsburgh Mills Mall. And it was pretty much just a regular chocolate bar with graham crackers in it, but I just fucking loved it. And then Charlie and the Chocolate Factory came out. We were in like 5th grade, so that hit right at the perfect time too. It was too quirky for me though. I didn't like it as much as the original, obviously. But then they came out with even more Wonka candy. I talked about this before on here too. The Wonka donut, unbelievable candy. They're just unbelievable. So I was excited for this one, even though the trailer wasn't the best thing I've ever seen, and the poster looks like we made it in multimedia class in high school. Looks terrible, but let's get into it. So for anyone that doesn't know already, with dreams of opening a shop in a city renowned for its chocolate, a young and poor Willy Wonka discovers that the industry is run by a cartel of greedy chocolatiers. So this one's starring Timothée Chalamet, Olivia Colman, Keegan-Michael Key, and Hugh Grant. Some current scores on it. It's got a 7.4 on IMDb, 84% certified fresh on Rotten Tomatoes, and a 91% audience score on Rotten Tomatoes. So pretty high there, all around. I'll just say it. I like this movie quite a bit. I thought it was just pretty lighthearted and fun. I kind of compare it to like a Greatest Showman movie, like musical, but instead of the circus, it's just all about chocolate, baby. It's all about that chocolate. Tim Chalamet is really good in the role. He can be a little bit quirky and weird, but that's okay. The movie is, a little quirky too at some points, and like they try a little too hard with some jokes sometimes, like some one-liners, and you kind of almost roll your eyes. But it is like a PG movie, so that's kind of expected. Keegan-Michael Key is also really funny in this, and I feel like we need to get more of him in movies. I feel like we don't see him in too much stuff. We get a lot of Jordan Peele now, but not as much Key. Not enough Key. But Hugh Grant as the Oompa Loompa, super funny too. Super nostalgic every time you hear all the little songs, like the Oompa Loompa song and the Pure Imagination them
little
song.
Songs? Oh man, kind of fucked up.
Yeah. But it's all super nostalgic. Even though it's a musical, I didn't know that in the beginning. I don't think I knew right away whenever this movie was announced it was going to be a straight up musical. But it's pretty good, and I think it's worth a watch, especially if you like the original like I do. Songs are all pretty good. Nothing really like completely memorable though, but I think I'm going to go up a 7 on this movie. I liked it. It was a solid watch. It wasn't bad. It wasn't the best, but it was cool.
Cool. Yeah. I'll start from where you started. The movie poster, when I first saw it, I thought it was fake.
Yeah.
Like it just doesn't look good.
Surely a movie with this kind of budget could have a better poster than.
And it doesn't even look like Timothy.
No, it's kind of
like
weird.
The face didn't look like him.
It looks like looks like AI-ish.
Yeah, it's something screwy, and I can't quite piece it together, but something just feels off with it.
I don't. And like
then with the musical bit, I didn't expect it to be full out musical either. And then I was talking about this with someone. They're like, "Well, wasn't the first one also kind of a musical?" I'm like, "Huh, that's kind of true."
I feel like this one's even more of a musical than the first one, though. To be fair,
gotcha.
It's so funny though. The one poster does have the tagline "Discover how Willy became Wonka." He is Wonka. It's just him.
That's his damn name. With that said, the Willy Wonka, the OG movie with Gene Wilder, I that's very easily such a classic film. Like when you talk like the history of cinema, I feel like Willy Wonka has to be included.
For sure.
Because everyone knows about it. Even if you weren't born during that time, which like we weren't. And yes, we got our own remake, but we still reverted back to the original because it was so different. I think it's the best way. Classic, you know? And I love like the little tidbits from that movie, like when they go through that tunnel, that only Gene Wilder knew what was going to happen. And same thing when they opened the doors to like the fully edible roux. Only Gene Wilder knew what was going to happen. I'm like, that's such a cool concept that I don't know if they do that as much anymore in films. I did hear they did it in like the first Harry Potter when they opened the great room to like to go into the sorting hat. That was the first time the children saw that, so that's kind of cool. Going back to Wonka though, I did not realize that Hugh Grant was going to be the Oompa Loompa.
It's so funny.
I didn't know that.
And he apparently hated it, which makes it even more funny.
That's awesome. Is there only one? Is it just him?
He's the only one they show in the movie. Oh, actually, I guess no. They kind of do show a couple others in the movie, but he's like the main one. It's really funny the way they have it set up in the movie. So it's pretty much like he follows Willy Wonka around without Willy Wonka knowing exactly that he's doing it.
Okay.
And
do
then
we get like an origin story?
Kinda, yeah.
That's cool.
I could spoil it if you'd like. It's not that big of a deal.
I mean, I don't care. Yeah. Spoiler alert for the next 10 seconds.
So where Willy gets his chocolate from is where the Oompa Loompas are, and he stole like 2 things of like cacao chocolate, and like now the Oompa Loompa follows him around to try to get payment, like repay it for what he took. He keeps stealing all of his jars of candy. It's pretty funny.
That's good. Okay.
He's like, I took hardly any. He's like, that was a lot for us, dude. It's funny.
It's better than the origin story they gave us in the Johnny Depp version.
Yeah, I don't even remember what the one is.
Ate weird shit together like bugs.
Oh yeah.
And they're like, "You want to come live with me?" And they're like, "Yeah, dude." And I'm like, "Okay, that's a little awkward." But man, I'm trying to think of some other questions here about Wonka. I'm about 2 hours. Is that a good length? Too long? Too short?
It might have been a little bit long, but it didn't feel too long now because the songs and all that helped. I didn't have very high expectations for it. I kind of figured it would be right here at about a 7 or so, and that's about right, exactly where it was. Whole movie, nothing really made me take anything away. Nothing really made me add more points. So,
and I think I know the answer to this, but if you were to rank all 3 of the Wonka movies, what's the order?
Probably the original Wonka and then Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
That's what I figured.
Yeah.
That was Tim Burton, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I'm not a Tim Burton guy. He creeps me out.
I'm not a huge Tim guy. Yeah, I'm not either. There's just something about all of his movies that are just like, it is creepy.
What always freaked me out about him is, so his wife is Bella Lestrange from Harry Potter.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. She's in a lot of his stuff.
She's in all of his movies, and so is Johnny Depp, obviously. And he always has them as like lovers. So I don't know if he has like a cuck thing going on, where he's like into that, but like that he always just like weirded me out.
I just realized that the Oompa Loompa on the IMDb page for Charlie and the Chocolate Factory looks exactly like Tony Sirico.
Now I gotta look him up.
He looks like Polly fucking Walnut.
Okay, yeah. Okay.
It's funny because he's an Indian guy.
Yeah, that's good. Awesome. Okay, yeah. So Wonka, we're seeing probably what good holiday movie you think?
It's not even very Christmassy.
Okay, never mind.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, but not really. Not as much as like the Holdovers per se.
Sure. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. But cool. All right, that is good there. Hit me with the one you just saw, which is the Iron Claw.
You can't see it right now, but I'm throwing up the Iron Claw in the air right now.
There's an Iron Claw. What's the Iron Claw? Is that like a hand thing?
It's a hand thing. Yeah, it's what they do in the movie.
I gotta know.
Oh, it rules.
The claw.
It's pretty much like what he does in Liar Liar. It's so funny because the mom from Liar Liar is in this movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's so crazy. It's actually like the one guy's their dad's finishing move. I'm getting ahead of myself here. So the Iron Claw. One thing about me is that I'm a wrestling guy. Or at least I used to be. Growing up, Stone Cold Steve Austin was like my idol. I watched Raw and SmackDown every week on Monday and Friday for years. I mean, and I even played with wrestlers and shit. It was crazy. Eventually I stopped watching, but I still dip my toe in every now and then. If it's like WrestleMania or something like a good Royal Rumble, I'll maybe tune in. But needless to say, I've heard of the Von Erichs before, but that was long before my time. They were wrestling in like the 70s and 80s. I didn't know anything of it. I've always just heard of them as being like old guys that are in the WWE Hall of Fame or whatever. So this movie, it's the true story of the inseparable Von Erich brothers who made history in the intensely competitive world of professional wrestling in the early 1980s. Like we said 10 minutes ago, it's starring Zac Efron, Jeremy Allen White, Harris Dickinson, Holt McCallany, and a few others we may recognize, like I just said, Maura Tierney, the mom from Liar Liar. It's currently at an 8 on IMDb. It's got an 88% certified fresh critic approval on Rotten Tomatoes and no audience score yet because it just came out today. I absolutely loved this movie. They nailed the casting on this. All the Von Erich brothers just play their character spot on, and you really get a feel for each character, and you don't get that in a lot of movies these days. Zac Efron, though, is definitely the standout as the lead Kevin. I think without a doubt, this has got to be his best role in his career. He nails all the emotions and the look of this character to a T. It's just an awesome performance. I'm trying to think if there's anything that he's even done that would even come close to this, but I don't think there is.
No, it's been a lot of... Like, he doesn't have a lot of serious movies.
Mm-hmm. But all the Von Erich brothers are great, especially Jeremy Allen White, too. He's so good. He's really going to be blown up here, especially after The Bear. Now this, I just know he's going to be in a bunch of good stuff. But yeah, what this family goes through in this movie, it just hits like a truck. I would say if you're unfamiliar with the story of the Von Erichs, keep it that way before you see this movie. Okay. Not that it makes a really big difference, but I didn't know all the details, and it made it even more dramatic for whenever things happen in this movie. So definitely keep yourself in the dark there whenever it comes to this, because it'll just make the movie even better. I think regardless if you're a wrestling fan or not, this is a really good movie that anyone can enjoy. It's by no means a happy movie, though. It's definitely tragic, and it's damn near heartbreaking. So don't expect to walk out in a great mood and happy. Tears will definitely probably be shed, maybe. I might have a little bit, but it was great. I loved it. I'm going to 9 on it. It's one of my favorites of the year so far, I think. Yeah, okay. Going to 9 on it.
So that, with that 9 tie, that does mean it has a chance to overtake Oppenheimer. I got to give it a 10 for it to happen.
Oh,
but there is a chance.
It's really good, dude. I'm really like it.
Not overtake. I'm sorry. It would tie.
Yeah. That'd be big.
We would both need 10s to overtake.
Mm-hmm.
But you answered my first question, the one that I was most worried about, which was I'm not a wrestling guy.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, would I care? Is that going to matter?
No, not at all. Not one bit. They just do a good job at, I mean, it's just, they're just a family of wrestlers. If you don't, if you've never heard the Von Erich name before, it won't matter. They do a really good job of kind of going into that.
Okay. Hell yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'm, like I said earlier, you have a pretty easy job here of convincing me to go see it.
Mm-hmm.
We've wanted to see this movie for months now at this point. And the time's finally here. I really like all these people involved in this movie. Yeah. So super excited to see them. Glad that you said that they kicked ass.
Even the other brothers, that aren't Zac Efron and Jeremy Allen White, names Harrison Dickinson and Stanley Simmons. They're both great too, as the two other brothers, especially Harrison Dickinson.
Okay.
He plays David. Nails it. Just awesome.
And he was in, trying to see what else he's been in, Triangle of Sadness, which I did not like that movie, and Where the Crawdads Sing. So, in The Kingsman.
Okay.
So he's in Maleficent. So he's been in actually a handful of movies. I just don't know if I recognize him so much. Maybe I will once I see him in the film.
I don't know what this Murder at the End of the World is either. It kind of sounds intriguing, but maybe not. I don't know. It's a Hulu thing.
Yet another A24 banger.
They don't miss. I've been saying it. They don't miss.
I'm also glad that A24, you know, what really started setting them apart was their horror films.
Mm-hmm.
And now they're in other things.
Yeah, they're going off the drama. They're doing right.
But it just seems like they're really hitting on them now. So yeah, I don't have a ton to say. I don't want to ask a lot of questions because I don't want to know. I want to see it. So not a ton here.
I'm excited for you to see it. I think you're gonna really like it.
Yeah, my brother and I believe we are gonna go be seeing it on Saturday.
You got to slap the iron claw on Brett when you walk out.
Yeah, I got to know the iron claw. Just let him have it on Christmas Day.
That is so fun. At the dinner table, you just come up from behind him and slap the claw on him.
But awesome, yeah. Two good convince me to sees here.
I
wasn't sure if I was going to see Wonka at all. I'll probably give it a go with your stamp of approval there. It's
I
worth
think
a watch.
I think for sure, like catch it streaming.
And I feel like that won't be long until it's streaming.
No, not at all. Speaking of streaming, though, I'm excited to watch Saltburn tomorrow on Amazon.
Yes.
Finally. That movie's been eluding me. That movie's been eluding me, and so has Poor Things. Poor Things has been eluding me. I'm going to try to see it I'm going to try to see a bunch of movies over the Christmas break here, brother. Let me tell you.
Yeah, I feel like Saltburn... I know you said Poor Things wasn't available up home for a while.
Mm-hmm. It finally is now. Like it just started like within the last 2 days.
It's so weird. And then Saltburn was the same way. Like I didn't see it.
Yeah.
It felt like I had to travel far to go find a place that even had it.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but whatever.
Yeah.
Awesome. But Ty, before we get into the Christmas movie Face Off, I do want to tease in a couple episodes we are going to be having our award show where we will be talking on quite a few things. Obviously, our favorite movies of 2023, our least favorite movies of 2023. We throw in some categories of like biggest surprise,
that's a good one.
Biggest disappointments.
Yep.
And then we break it. We have a few genre categories, and I do feel like there's some that have some overlap, but we're figuring it out, and that's fine if we have some overlap there. I also feel like there may be some movies that win multiple awards, but it will be interesting to see. The way we are going to be doing it is a little different than a normal award show. We're not like crowning overall winners and shit other than Best Picture, but we're each going to bring a nominee for each category, discuss it, and we don't have to agree or disagree. We're telling you what we liked.
Yep.
But stay tuned for that. That will likely be in 2 episodes, 2 weeks from now. That gives us time to see all the films we need to see, to properly rate and give awards. And but the next episode, we will be going into the new year, talking about the most anticipated and least anticipated movies for 2024.
Oh boy.
And let me tell you, I looked through all of the movies coming out. There's likely going to be more that pop up on here, but a lot of movies I'm not excited about.
I feel like it is going to be a down year as far as movies go, because the strike affected it for so long.
Yeah, so hopefully things turn out better, and I'm just being a cynic here, but we'll get into that during the next episode. But for now, let's talk some Christmas movies. So Ty, we'll go back and forth here. We'll pick 5 movies each. I guess we should get a draft order here. Luckily I have my Dungeons and Dragons dice here.
Oh yeah.
So I'll roll a d20. 11 to 20 will be you. Okay. A 1 to 10 will be me.
Sweet.
So let's give it a roll. Oh my god, I got a 2. All right, so I will be first.
Oh boy. And what's first off the draft board here?
So I feel like in terms of ADP, average draft position, this movie is likely going to be near like the 101 to 102, and it's got to be Elf. It's got to be Elf. Wow. At least for me. I think in terms of Christmas movies, you can't leave a conversation without talking about it.
Very true.
I watch it every single year since it came out. Immediately got it on DVD when it came out. People quote it all the time, and it's just a good heartwarming movie with Will Ferrell, and it's also the same mom from Step Brothers, which is funny.
It's so funny.
You get James Caan in there, Zooey Deschanel, and the whole movie, start to finish, is fantastic. And I just saw a little thing that I feel like I knew but completely forgot. But the kid that plays Ralphie from A Christmas Story, he's one of the elves at the beginning of the movie.
Oh, I never knew that. And I just
he's
like the other day.
He's like the manager elf, like the one telling him, "Hey, you suck at your job." That's Ralphie.
That rules. I never even noticed that.
Yeah. So for me, number 101 for the draft, I'm going Elf. And Ty, I got to know, did I steal your pick?
You did not. So my draft board, my number 1 overall draft pick is still here. I'm taking it right now. Give me Home Alone. Okay. Give me Home Alone.
The OG. Yeah, that's
timeless classic. The last 3 weeks, my mom's either had Home Alone or Home Alone 2 on the TV. And I think Home Alone is just, I think it's still like better than 2. But I think whenever I think of Christmas movies, it's probably the first one that comes to mind.
Sure.
Or one of the first ones. Like we said, we don't watch a ton of them. We probably both watch the same 6 movies, like we said. So some of these movies we're about to draft here, not as good as our first overall picks here, but one and 1, 2 here are definitely the 2 juggernauts, I think.
For sure. And, Home Alone, it came out before we were born and all that, but it's still a movie that we immediately saw during Christmas. Whenever that may have been. We were thrown into it because it was yet another classic. And we fucking love Joe Pesci. So
Joe Pesci, hell yeah.
I'm looking at some numbers here, and this shocks me. Home Alone, probably because they've had multiple re-releases and everything, it's been out, 13 more years than Elf, but Home Alone has made $285.76 million. Elf only has made 173.4.
Wow.
Yeah, that shocks me.
That's crazy.
So, fun fact there. But let's keep it rolling. Ty, let's do snake draft. So, go again.
Snake?
Go again. Yeah,
okay.
We'll do snake draft.
Give me Christmas Vacation. I feel like this is an unbeatable. I feel like this is an unstoppable force here. Christmas Vacation and Home Alone. Those are probably the 2, in my opinion, my 2 favorite Christmas movies.
Fair enough. Yeah, you get old Chevy Chase in there. The OG. Did Summer Vacation come out before, or it was just called Vacation?
I think so. I think
was that before
Vacation
Christmas?
Came out after.
Okay. Because they kept making them.
Yeah, they really have been cranking them out. And then they tried to reboot it with old Ed Helms.
Oh yeah, Vacation was 1983. Christmas Vacation was 89, and according to these ratings, people like Christmas Vacation better.
Christmas Vacation rules. It's just such a good movie.
For my second pick here, man, I feel like I'm sticking in the modern era, and you're more classical than I am. But I'm gonna go with How the Grinch Stole Christmas, the one with Jim Carrey.
You bastard! There's no way I was gonna be able to let that one go by. Nice.
I was waiting to get a steal here. It's fun to get the first pick, but when I find out Elf wasn't your number 1 overall, I'm like, what did I do? I made a mistake. But all right, cool. I got a steal from you. How the Grinch Stole Christmas. Again, incredibly quotable movie. Jim Carrey is a wild man. If you've watched the Man in the Moon documentary, he is really into method acting. I don't know how he method acted as the fucking Grinch, but he did I think a fantastic job. The movie itself, I have seen it more recently, maybe isn't that great. But
True.
The quotes, the silliness,
the memes,
just the memes, the body humor that is Jim Carrey is always funny.
Oh yeah, I saw this movie in 1-2-3 cinema.
Oh geez, old school.
Way back in the day. Yep.
And it's still so popular that Universal Studios is doing their Christmas days, and they have like their own Grinch. And guess who he acts like? Not like the Grinch from the Dr. Seuss book, not like the Grinch from the like original cartoon. He acts like Jim Carrey's Grinch because that's the one people love and know.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, I'm going with that one. And shit, I guess I get to go again. And now this is where my list starts to kind of dwindle out.
For sure.
Realized earlier this day I don't know that many Christmas movies.
All right.
Feels like we watch the same ones.
Yep.
But man, I just said it. I'm keeping with like the newer school movies, and I'm going to keep that trend going here with Klaus from Netflix. Netflix's Klaus, Klaus.
I don't know if I've seen that one.
This is newer. Came out 2019. It is very different for a Christmas movie. Obviously, as the name suggests, it's about Santa Claus, but it's less about a magical dude that flies around everywhere and delivers presents. This is more about a lonely guy who makes toys himself and then just goes and puts them on children's doorsteps in like this kind of poor town. And I don't know when this is supposed to take place, maybe like the 1800s or something. But it is a very heartfelt movie. The animation is fantastic in this. It's different, but it is very good. And you get J.K. Simmons as Claus. So that's rules. A killer there.
That rules just right there. Yeah.
And there's actually a lot of people in this movie that might take a little bit to recognize their voice other than J.K. Simmons. But when you do, you're like, oh shit, yeah, that is him. So like Jason Schwartzman, who is in a lot of things. Wasn't he Spot in Spider-Man? Yeah, he was Spot in the latest Spider-Verse. So he was in that. You get Rashida Jones, you get Will Sasso, and Norm Macdonald.
Whoa.
Is also into set before he sadly passed, and Joan Cusack. So solid lineup.
Wow, I might have to throw that on.
Yeah, 100%. It's only an hour and a half.
Awesome.
And it is just, I don't know, heartwarming, quite honestly. More so than quite a lot of other Christmas films here.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a good story and just very different. So I'm going to go with Klaus.
Okay. It's going to be fun. I'm going to make some kind of graphic here with our draft picks. I'm going to put it up on Instagram to see who got the best
Hell yeah.
team here.
Gotta know.
So let's see. Take a look at my draft board here. I'm going to go Jingle All the Way.
Okay.
Give me Arnold. Give me the Turbo Man, baby.
Yeah.
I've seen the actual Turbo Man at Walmart. I think it was like last year. I didn't buy it. I should have bought it. It was so cool. I love that movie. That movie is like one that's super nostalgic.
Yeah.
I wanted that goddamn Turbo Man whenever I was a kid. You couldn't get it back then. I love this movie. It's probably honestly one of my favorites too. I haven't watched it in a while, but I did throw it on the other day. Didn't finish it, but it's just so nostalgic.
It's like, have you watched the Arnold documentary on Netflix?
No,
Okay, so it's also super good, but it goes into like how he was typecasted as like this action hero and everything, and then he starts doing like Kindergarten Cop, Jingle All the Way, and just him like talking about being in those films is hilarious.
Oh yeah, I can only imagine.
But I feel like I should have played like the game because I didn't know if you've seen Klaus or not, or not, however they want to pronounce it. And I'm like, man, I feel like I could have waited here, got Jingle All the Way, and still get Klaus as like my last pick. But nope, I took the safe route and you nabbed one of my films.
Damn, gotcha. The steal in the later rounds here.
That's right.
I was going to say I'm surprised they never made another Jingle All the Way, but they did. They made Jingle All the Way 2 with fucking Larry the Cable Guy.
Yes, they did.
We just won't even speak of that. We just won't even speak of it.
Blasphemy. So, all right, Ty, 4th round pick. Who you got?
4th round pick. Let me see here. Who's still on my big board? Oh, I still have 2 picks here that I know.
Don't do it.
Could go at any time. 2, 3, 4. I'm going to go the Santa Claus. Give me Tim Allen.
Okay.
I was torn between this and my other one.
Yeah.
But I'll see if I'll be able to get mine in the last round.
I'm hoping I'm picking the other one. Santa Claus, funny enough, this came out, we were 1 year old probably.
That's crazy.
And feel like I remember it coming out when we were a bit older because it was always on the Disney Channel.
For sure. I love this movie just because it just reminded me of like my Tim Allen back then kind of reminded me of my uncle. He looked like him, he kind of talked like him, but then it's so funny. Like every time I hear the boo-doo-doo-doo, boom, I just think of this movie. It was always funny because I would have thought you would have thought of Home Alone because he sings that in Home Alone. Yeah. I'm thinking, because I'm thinking, because it's like whenever he's burning whatever's in his oven, and that starts to come on.
Nice.
He goes up, he puts a suit on, falls off the roof. I will say I haven't seen any. I might have seen the Santa Claus 2, but I think there might be even more spin-offs of it now that I haven't seen. Yeah. I think there's like a 3 and maybe even a 4th and like a TV show. Haven't seen any of those. The original, just the OG classic. Add it to the list, baby. So let's see if I take your last pick here. So I'm going to go a bit more raunchy. Oh boy. You did not, but it was Bad Santa. Nice. That is a classic. Bad Santa, man, I saw this movie way too young, probably. Came out when we were in 3rd grade. I probably saw it when I was in 5th, I would imagine. But man, it is funny, and it still holds up to this day. If it's on, you can't watch it just straight up on cable or on TV because it's censored. Yeah, and you don't get all the super funny parts out of it. But man, Billy Bob Thornton can really just play a dickhead, and I feel like he's just typecasted as a dickhead now in everything he's in. He nails it. So that's a super fun movie. The little kid in it, they made Bad Santa 2, not nearly as good, but they did make Bad Santa 2, and the same kid grown up, looks exactly the same, just bigger. And there's this woman comedian who looks exactly like that kid. She just did Night at the Improv, I think that's what it was called, on Netflix, where there's a bunch of comedians. I know you're talking about it. She looks exactly like him. Fortune Feimster, I think, is her name. Yeah, okay. That's so funny, when she came out on stage, I'm like, is that the fucking kid from Bad Santa? Dude, that is absolutely hilarious. But absolute classic film. Well, 2003, maybe that's 20 years ago. Can it be considered classic now? I think it can be considered a classic. But I feel like I knew if I didn't get one of these, I was gonna supplement it with a different one, which we can talk about it at the end of the draft. But I feel like I have 2 new of movies in my list, so I do want to get a classic in there. Yeah. And that is going to be A Year Without a Santa Claus for me. Oh, okay. So I've never seen that one. 1974. Oh, wow. Gotta see it. This is the one with the heat miser and the snow miser. Okay, I have seen it. Never mind. You get their little songs with their own little Oompa Loompa mini type people. But yes, I really... It's definitely a nostalgia thing for me. This is my mom's favorite Christmas movie. Okay. So we do watch it every year. It's not even an hour long. Yeah. It's one of those made for TVs. Is it claymation? I don't even know if it's claymation, but whatever that style is. Yeah. It always creeped me out. The animation for these movies, it was really disturbing to say the least. Especially Heat Miser and Snow Miser, they're just like terrifying for a child to watch. But either way, incredibly classic film, 1974. So I finally get one that's a bit older in my lineup, and for my final pick, I'm pretty happy with it. That's where I'm lacking. I'm lacking in newer-ish movies, but I do have the absolute grip. I have the iron claw on the old movies here, and I'm gonna really set it home here. I'm going to set it up with one. My final pick is one that everybody should have seen because you can watch it for 24 hours on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. Oh, no. And that's A Christmas Story. Yeah. Give me a Christmas Story.
Man. In terms of like airtime, you probably win.
Right. I mean, these are just on all the time.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna do pretty good numbers wise here. I think I'm gonna on the poll.
I think so too. My hope is that I get the elf crowd, and they're just really they come to.
You definitely have the elf and the Grinch for sure.
Yeah.
I got old Kevin McAllister slapping his face and going, ah.
Yeah, I went for the memes.
For sure.
However, Home Alone has some good memes too with Joe Pesci and the other guy.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Man, but yeah, so I was torn on some of them because I was like thinking about it. I'm like, man, I really don't watch that many Christmas movies. The ones I do watch are all the same ones every year.
Mm-hmm.
And I was going to throw Just Friends in there with Ryan Reynolds.
I'm really shocked neither of us went Die Hard just to be that guy.
I didn't want to be that guy. I'm not a Die Hard guy.
Me either.
Yeah. So all right, cool.
That's good to know.
Actually had that conversation with my friend group at work, where like we went around and made our arguments for whether or not Die Hard should be considered a Christmas movie.
Mm-hmm.
And I get it. It takes place during Christmas. And if that's the only thing that is required to be a Christmas movie, there's a lot more Christmas movies out there than people think.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. But
I think pretty much everything on my big board went except for two. Nightmare Before Christmas, I just had on there because I was scrambling to remember Christmas movies.
Sure.
And then The Holdovers, which is a newer movie, but it's pretty much a Christmas movie, I'd say, right?
Yeah. It is. It's listed. If you go on IMDb and look up the Christmas or Christmas movie keywords, it's there.
Yeah. So
it shows up. So I think that's fair.
I really wanted that one, didn't snag it. I could have got that in the later round as my newer pick, but I'm happy with it. I think in
terms of like when it comes to voting, it's probably a good thing neither of us took The Holdovers because I don't think that many people saw it.
Oh, for sure. I like the draft, and we need to do the draft for other stuff.
Yeah, draft was a good one. You know, we should probably do. I don't know what's coming up next. Maybe we don't even got to worry. Say we all missed out. We could have done like Halloween.
Oh, for sure. That's the next year
draft. But awesome. Yeah, we're really coming down and starting to put our flag in the movies we enjoy here.
Mm-hmm.
And man, I've been trying to prep for our award show that's coming next because there's a lot of thought that I really got to give here.
I need to make a spreadsheet of all my like top probably like 20 here, and actually probably all of them, and just rank get them in order.
Yeah, because I mean in terms of like our favorite movie, that's simple. That's just going to be the average of our rating, and we pretty much know at this point what it's very likely to be. Yeah. But for the other ones, man, I don't know.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun to see how it plays out.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm curious, when we bring our nominations, we're not going to talk to each other before these, but I'm curious if we hit on some of them that for the same categories.
I'm sure we probably will, just because I
think so too.
We're pretty much in same mindset. A lot of the shit.
Yeah. So I'm super excited for that. Honestly, that's. I've been looking forward to that episode for months now.
Oh yeah, for sure.
It's going to be a good one. But next week we will be talking 2024 movies, looking at what's coming out this year. I don't know if we'll have anything really new to talk about, Ty. Are we going to have any films that we're going to see?
I think I'm going to see. Let's see. I'm at least going to see
Poor Things.
I'm at least going to see Poor Things for sure.
Okay.
And I might see Anyone But You.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Fair enough then.
Poor Things, Anyone But You for sure.
Awesome. So we'll get if I don't see both of those, if I see both of them, we can just do full review. Otherwise, you're going to convince me to see Sydney Sweeney or Emma Stone. I had to think what Emma it was for a second.
What?
I've been rewatching the Harry Potter, so I'm all in on
this right now. Those kind of almost feel like Christmassy too, in a way.
So I thought about doing that because I'm like, at least the first one, there's a very Christmas focused part of the movie. Like there's at least 30 minutes that's Christmas focused. Because Harry never got Christmas presents before.
Nope.
But yeah, no, I've been running through those. So good. Fantastic. I'm going to be very sad, and I know people are already talking about it, but I'm going to be extremely sad when they decide to remake them.
Oh my gosh, I know. It's just going to be so weird.
It's going to be extremely weird because, you know, watching them now, they hold up.
Oh, for sure.
I really think they do. You know, Chamber of Secrets and Philosopher's Stone, Sorcerer's Stone. It's called different things, by the way, in different countries. So that always like confused me growing up. I'm like, wait, I don't remember it being named that. But yeah, because you know the first two, they're not they're the worst of the bunch. But they're also like straight up children.
Yeah.
You know, and then from like Prisoner of Azkaban onwards, those are some real movies. For sure. Cinematic masterpieces, honestly. But anyways, that's where we will end it here. Give you some of those teasers for what is coming up, and vote for me on the poll. You know you like Elf. But no, I do think we have they're different archetypes
for sure
of these builds.
Definitely
new school versus old school. But cool, Ty, I think we end it here.
I think that'll do it.
Awesome. We'll see you next time.
Merry Christmas.